through a series called Life After Sunday. And we're touching on not just theological truths, but how do we apply this stuff to our everyday lives? And so last week, we kind of broke it open and said we're supposed to do everything in the name or in the authority or character of Jesus Christ. What does that mean? It means to do things with gentleness, with humility, with patience, to do things like Jesus would do things. And that encompasses just about everything on the face of the earth. And when we talk about this full scope of doing everything in the name of Christ, one of the big chunks of our lives, one of the most important pieces of our lives is how we do family, how we relate to each other in a marriage, in a home. And so I believe this is a very, very, very important topic. And since it's so important, we're going to approach it a little differently. Usually I kind of get excited up here. In the black church, they call it getting a little happy. But I don't want to go too fast. I want to slow down so we can all chew on what's being said in the text, because it's a very important subject, marriage and family. And so I have a clip. It's from a show called Wife Swap. You guys ever seen the show Wife Swap? And there's a debate about how to do marriage and family, and you can usually see it in Wife Swap. So we're going to show the clip, and we're going to get into the sermon. Now, there were so many things that were different about those families. We won't even get into the ghost hunting. That's neither here nor there. One of the biggest, extremes or the biggest differences was more of the traditional family. The husband goes out and works. The wife stays at home and does the cooking and cleaning. And then there was another family that was more non-traditional, where the dad was taking care of the kids and doing the cleaning, and the mom wasn't doing anything. And that's an ongoing cultural debate. Do we have traditional roles? Are we supposed to fit these roles, or does God have something different for us? And the question is, which way does God prefer? And this is important because I heard somewhere that 80% of our homes are dysfunctional. 80% of our families are dysfunctional. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of us don't know how to do family. We want family. We want to get married. We want to have children. We want to have this sense of belonging, of love, but we're lost, kind of clueless, because there's all these different messages, all these different influences, and we don't really know how to do it God's way. Doing family God's way. That's what we're going to talk about today. And for those of you who are single, you may say, hey, I don't, doesn't really pertain to me, but it's a wider issue in society. There's an ongoing debate on how to do this. And it behooves you to settle how to do family God's way. People are going to ask you, you're going to run into people at the job, in the neighborhood. You need to know this. What does God want for the family? And so we're going to turn to our text. We're going to turn in our Bibles to Colossians 3. We left off verse 18. I'm going to read verse 18 to 21. 4 simple yet very packed verses. It should be on the screen. Starting at verse 18, I'm going to read this. Wives, submit to your husbands. As is fitting in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. Fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged. It seems simple enough. Not beating around the bush. Submit, love, do not embitter, obey. All these commands. Application. But I want to introduce you guys to something, and it's called reading the Bible in context. We had people go through our Vineyard Leadership Institute, and the motto, the first thing you learn, the very first class, do you know what did you learn the first day of class? Oh, there you go. There you go. Your money was spent wisely. All meaning is context dependent. What do I mean by that? English is spoken in America and English is spoken in England. When I go to England and I read a book or I say cheerio to somebody, they're thinking I'm saying goodbye. Here in America, Cheerio means a grain cereal. So the meaning of Cheerio is different dependent on the context. Or, if you watch some of these movies and they're in England, we were just watching Harry Potter and all they kept saying was, brilliant, brilliant. For us, brilliant just means somebody smart. But they use brilliant for everything. Those are brilliant shoes. That's a brilliant shirt. And so it has a whole different and a wider range of meaning depending on the context. And it's the same thing with the Bible because it's a different culture. See, we're reading the words in English, but we have to think about there's a different culture and a different audience that the writer was writing to. And so when we approach the Bible, we approach it like a cake. Who likes cake? I like cake. Cake is a good thing. One of God's greatest gifts. And so if you eat a cake, you're looking at it from top down, and all you see is icing. You take your fork, you dig into the cake, you bite into it, and you could taste a wide range of things. You could taste the actual cake, the bread part. You could taste the icing. If it was a strawberry cake, you got the strawberries in there. So if it has chocolate, you taste the chocolate. There's layers to it. There's different layers that inform your taste of the cake. And there's layers to the Bible that inform our understanding of the Bible. So a lot of things in the Bible, you can't just chew on it and think this is what it is all the time. That's why we don't stone children when they disobey us. That's why I'm not up here in a robe and sandals. Even though it is kind of hot, I think might be good to wear a robe and sandals sometimes. That's why we don't take everything literally. We look at the context. And so what I want to do this morning is take you through the context of the text or the passage that we just read. And there's layers to it. Not only is there a context that it was written in back then, but there's also the context that we have today or that we bring to the writing. And so we're going to start with the first layer of context. Layer of context number one is the Roman Empire. When you read the New Testament, you have to realize that they're writing in the context of the Roman Empire.